Hey, what's up, everybody? You know, tomorrow night's the Elimination Chamber. As you probably have seen already, I put up my predictions for tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when you see this video, chamber match. Now, some people are asking the question as to who's going to replace Dolph Ziggler after last night. Well, a lot of people are saying the most logical choice is to go with two people, Cody Rhodes and Christian. Now, some are also saying that they should go with Booker T, which would be cool, seeing him get one more shot at the world title, and he's been in a chamber match before. And some are saying they should go with Undertaker. Maybe they should go with Triple H. But the two more logical choices, from what I understand, like I said, is Christian and Cody Rhodes, which wouldn't be bad replacements. But some are also saying it would make a lot of sense if they just put Ziggler back in there, which I believe is the stronger choice. I really do. I truly believe that's going to be the more logical choice, and let me explain. I mean, Ziggler could end up on Raw on Monday night. There's no doubt about it. But this is the way I look at it. And I was talking about this. I think I talked about this a little bit in my preview, or in my predictions for the Elimination Chamber. But if I didn't, this is what I see happening. I see Dolph Ziggler probably showing up tomorrow night, asking for his job back. Teddy Long saying, "Hey, I was going to give you a job here," but basically Teddy Long. What I see is somebody said this, and I probably agree with it. Teddy Long's probably going to give him back his job after Ziggler probably begs for it and grovels for it or whatever. And basically Teddy Long might say, "Hey, I was going to give you a job back anyway, but I wanted to teach you a lesson. A lesson that if you want a world title, another shot at the world title, you earn it. You don't take somebody out that's your boss, that's apparently your boss on the show that you're on, or runs the show that you're on. You don't take them out because you feel as though that's the only way you're going to get multiple world title shots or even get to the world title." So that's what I think could happen. And I think, honestly, this is just my opinion. I'm probably wrong, but this is just my opinion, that Dolph would probably get back in with something similar to what I just mentioned, along with the stipulation and condition that if Dolph Ziggler does not win the chamber match, and as long as he's on SmackDown, whether Teddy Long is there as the general manager or not, as long as Dolph's on SmackDown, he cannot get a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship ever again. Which would obviously mean, down the line, he'd move to Raw, which would make more sense with the brand extension and everything, or the brand, not the brand extension, but the draft possibly coming up this year. It would make more sense for Dolph to probably get back into the SmackDown Chamber match with that kind of a stipulation, and then later on this year after WrestleMania, which apparently is when the draft takes place, maybe, we're not sure, have him get drafted over back to Raw along with Vicki Guerrero, which apparently wouldn't help much, but you get the idea, and have him challenge there. Here's what I think should happen. Have Dolph. Okay, stipulation is Dolph can't challenge for the world title if he loses the chamber. Alright, here's what I would do. Have Dolph lose the chamber match, but yet have him qualify thanks to some kind of help by Vicki Guerrero for the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania. Then have him drafted to Raw, and then have him go back to SmackDown and challenge for the world title. Then again, I know that sounds ridiculous, here's a more logical sense. Have him go to Raw on the 21st, on Monday, as the newest member of the Raw roster, have him qualify for Money in the Bank, and then have him cash in on the world champion, whoever it may be, on SmackDown. So that way, Dolph Ziggler will finally become world champion and be back on SmackDown, and there'd be nothing Teddy Long could do about it. It makes some logical sense there. So this is the way I look at it. Two things are going to happen. Dolph will get replaced by either the two more logical choices, Rhodes or Christian, or, which means he'll end up on Raw the next night, qualify for Money in the Bank, and if he wins it, go back to SmackDown, cash it in on the World Heavyweight Champion, and thus be the World Champion on SmackDown, and there'd be nothing Teddy could do about it. Or two, put him back in the Chamber match on Sunday, with the stipulation that if he doesn't win, he cannot get a world title match as long as he's on SmackDown. Whether Teddy Long's the general manager of the show or not. That's what I would do. If I was booking and writing the show and all that, that's how I would do it. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it'd be the best option for them to go with Ziggler at this time. Or some of the best options. Now, again, though, the draft could also mean that the world title could end up on Raw and the WWE title could end up on SmackDown. Now, here's the thing about this. If Ziggler ends up on Raw on Monday, and I apologize for that, that's my dog. But if Ziggler ends up on Raw on Monday, okay, wins Money in the Bank while on Raw, think of it this way. The draft could cause the world champion, whoever holds the World Heavyweight title, to go to Raw. Now if that happens, then Ziggler can once again challenge for the world title because the title would be on Raw and so would Ziggler, which means Teddy Long's stipulation, if they were to go this route, wouldn't stick. So again, that's how I would, again, those are just some of the ideas I would go with when it concerns Dolph Ziggler. Because I would have Dolph Ziggler, like I said, either show up on Raw as the newest member of the roster, win a Money in the... My dog trying to get up on the couch, she's not supposed to be up here. Have him qualify for a Money in the Bank spot on the Raw side, you know, representing Raw, that is, at WrestleMania. Then, you know, like I said, have him win Money in the Bank, and depending on what happens with the draft, whether the world title ends up on Raw or stays on SmackDown, have him cash in the world title on SmackDown, become world champion on SmackDown, and there'd be nothing Teddy Long could do. Now, if the world title ends up being drafted over to Raw, like I said, have him cash it in there, but you know, like I said, these are just ideas. You know, have him cash it in there and he'd be world champion. Or even if he doesn't win Money in the Bank, and let's say, you know, the world title gets drafted over to Raw with the whoever's the champion at the time, in exchange for the WWE champion going to SmackDown. Again, it would make a lot of logical sense in some way, because in that way, the stipulation, like I said, if I was to go in with one of these ideas that Teddy Long would put on, would add to Dolph being back in the match this Sunday, would not stick. But again, these are just ideas that I would go with if I was WWE writing the storyline, booking these matches. I would go in one of these directions. Now I know you may or may not agree with me on some of them, but you gotta admit some of them make some sense. Now, speaking of Teddy Long mentioned on his return last night that Vicki Guerrero had been after his job for some time. Now apparently we all know that Vicki had been the general manager before of SmackDown, and that now that Teddy Long's general manager again, they don't want that. Teddy Long wants to prevent Vicki from getting that position, getting that power again. So here's what I see happening with the situation between Teddy Long and Vicki. Now we all know that Michael Cole and Lawler are going to face each other in some kind of match at WrestleMania, whether we like to see it or not, and that match is going to be a top headliner, or at least one of the top semi-main events, if you will, special attractions, whatever. But I also see this. I see a match very reminiscent of WrestleMania 23's Battle of the Billionaires. I do. But what I see is Teddy Long and Vickie Guerrero being represented by two wrestlers, either superstars or even divas in this case, with the title SmackDown General Manager on the line. That's right. With the title of SmackDown General Manager on the line. Now, if they wanted to go the superstar route, I would have Teddy Long probably bring in Rey Mysterio. Now, listen to this. This would probably make some sense. I'd have Teddy Long get Rey Mysterio to represent him. Okay? Then on Vickie's side, I'd have Cody Rhodes representing her. Now, here's how it would work out. Rey Mysterio and Cody Rhodes obviously have a storyline going. Now, as crazy as this may sound, why not add to that storyline the fact that Teddy Long and Vickie Guerrero are going to choose them to represent both of them in a match, to where not only can Cody Rhodes and Rey Mysterio settle the differences once and for all, but whoever wins, the person they represent, becomes general manager. So in other words, let's say Cody Rhodes wins, Vickie Guerrero becomes general manager. Or let's say Rey Mysterio wins, Teddy Long becomes general manager. You get the idea, right? Like I said, as crazy as that sounds, it makes some sense. Because if they're building something with Cody Rhodes and Rey Mysterio going towards Mania, why not build it around something like that? Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be Mysterio or Rhodes. You know, it could be some other superstars. You get what I'm saying? It could be some other superstars. I can't think of many on SmackDown, I can be honest with you. But maybe on one side you could have Big Show representing... okay, here's the thing. Some people are hoping for a Big Show Ezekiel Jackson match at Mania. Why not have Big Show represent Teddy Long and Jackson represent Vickie Guerrero? That would make sense, wouldn't it? And again, same stipulation. Big Show wins, Teddy Long remains general manager. Ezekiel Jackson wins, Vickie Guerrero becomes general manager. In other words, depending superstar-wise on who you would choose, or even diva-wise. Diva-wise, here's an interesting thing. Everybody's waiting for the debut of Awesome Kong, right? Here's the thing. Why not have Awesome Kong representing Vickie Guerrero and Beth Phoenix representing Teddy Long? Again, same stipulation. Beth wins, Teddy Long remains general manager. Kong wins, Vickie becomes general manager. And think of it this way. Vickie and Beth have history, so that would make it more intriguing. And also, this would kind of show us who would be who would become the dominant diva in the WWE. If you know what I mean. But again, it makes sense either way. Either you go with the Mysterio Rhodes route, you know, and add this to this storyline. Either you go with Show and Jackson and add them to the equation, or you go the diva route and do Beth Phoenix, Awesome Kong. Again, it would make a lot of sense. Probably not as much sense as people would hope for, but it would make a lot of sense either way. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, if the general management has to be on the line, why doesn't Vickie put something else on the line? That's a good idea. That's what I'm getting to. Storyline-wise, I know Teddy Long would probably put the general managementship on the line, but in exchange, that Vickie puts up her job as official consultant. So in other words, again, same stipulation. Whoever represents Teddy Long, he remains if they win, he remains general manager. Vickie Guerrero is done as his official consultant, which means she'd probably take another leave of absence from WWE. But if she wins, but whoever represents her, she wins, whoever represents her wins, she becomes general manager, and Teddy Long's out of a job. Get what I'm saying? So, tell me what you guys think about that. I mean, it sounds like it'd be an interesting way to go if I was WWE. sounds like a very interesting way that I would go. So, those are just my thoughts on the whole Dolph Ziggler Elimination Chamber deal. You know, Dolph Ziggler being fired, and what I feel could be a possible WrestleMania 27 match. So, tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you agree with what I said about Ziggler's situation, and what you think of possibly that situation went long with Teddy and Vicki. Tell me what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all later.